From Senegal to Sugar Hill, trace the bloodline. 100 years of brilliance through the color line. They thought the shackles broke but kept the mental chain. Langston penned the future while they legislated pain. Harlem's ballrooms birthed the cosmos in mahogany, while lynching trees still decorated southern botany. Josephine, Waker's pearls, and Garvey's Navy ships. Du Bois debating destiny with scholarship on his lips. The Renaissance was a renaissance of West resistance, fam. Every trumpet blast from Armstrong was a battering ram. They gave us minstrel shows, we gave them Sora Neal. Turned depression into art, made the fabricator real. Cotton Club excluded us from tables every set. To form the Deanest Nightly, never free from the debt. But Bessie Smith could shatter glass, shatter cash, shatter lies. Every note she sang contained a revolution in the sky. Build temples from the rubble, make cathedrals from the struggle. Turn the margins to the center, now they study what we scribble. We build temples from the rubble, every generation double. The inheritance of genius that they tried to keep us from. Fast forward through the decades, watch the pattern reassemble. Malcolm speeches, Martin's marches, every voice begins to tremble to the earth until the structure shows its fractures. FBI was tracking every coon with every pastor, every actor. 40 acres never came but 40 minutes on a stage to reconvene your consciousness and channelize the rage. From bebop to hip-hop, the fool lines mathematical. Each generation weaponized the beautiful, the radical. They gave us Reagan out as crack and mass incarceration. We gave them Public Enemy and blueprints for liberation. The Harlem Renaissance never ended, just evolved its form. Every freestyle cipher is a brainstorm, is a storm. Where the children of the talented, the tenth that was prophesied, inherit the fire that the water couldn't wash aside. They tried to write us out the narrative. We offered all on text, 100 years of proof, and that we're destined. Where was next? Temples from the rubble, made cathedrals from the struggle. Turned the largest to the center, now they study what we scribble. We built temples from the rubble, every generation double. The inheritance of genius that they tried to keep us from.
All right, this is, and you are Under the Groove. Welcome everybody to Under the Groove podcast. Let's get it in, man. Y'all already know how it go. You know how it goes. So come on. Yeah, I'm tripping on that. It's always something, man, you know? Okay, there we go. It's always something, man. What the fuck? It's always something, you know? And that's fine. I think that's just the way it is, man. You know, it was written to be just that, something. All right, I see you up in here, B60, man. All right, the second time today we didn't tapped in, man. And just know, bro, that when we talk, man, I hear everything you're saying, man. I don't want it to seem, I would like for you to not think of it as, okay, I'm procrastinating, or, you know, I'm not just interested in whatnot. I am not procrastinating. We are very interested in what we've been talking about. But like I said, man, there's, you know, we have to prioritize what we're doing on this end in order to make sure that everything is in order. Those things that need to be done will get done. You know, we have a household here, you know, we have family with us. So we got to always monitor that. So just trust when I tell you, man, we're going to get on this. All right. And sooner rather than later. All right. So that goes out to you, bro. Peace and prosperity to you and yours, man. Love and respect as well. We hear you loud and clear. All right. All right, Queen and Zinc, I see you up in here. How's everything, sister? Peace and blessings to the World Group Congregation. B1 is Black First. Appreciate you dropping that line. All right. Hey, my bad. I hear you, B60. Yeah. My bad, bro. If it ain't Arlington, then yeah, I mixed it up. My bad. All right. If you ain't Arlington, then I mixed it up. And that's okay. And let me know if it's Arlington. If it's not Arlington, let me know. And yeah, I can plug you in on that get out as well. You know, I'm pulling up shit as I go every day, trying to have my ducks in a row, so to speak. You know, there's a lot of issues, things materialistically speaking, we want to line up and make sure it's, you know, it's done right. So yeah, if you want in on that, as soon as Smoke come on, I'll let Smoke know. Smoke's probably listening right now. In any respect, man, we're gonna, you know, pull his tail to the fact that, you know, brothers are interested in this get down, sisters are interested in this get down in terms of, you know, uh, you know, the trust concern or the trust issue, you know. There that is. There that is. Just so you know, bro. And this thing seem dark as hell. I got them lights on super. Oh, hold on, y'all. All right. The thing lighting up good. All right, we up in this thing though, man. So appreciate everybody's patience. What it do, Pope? Hey man, yep. Hey man, you know how we say it, man, and what we talk about in terms of priorities. First and foremost. You know, first and foremost, priorities are first. Priorities are first. I see you though. Good to see you up in here, bro. You know, stay doing that, man, till you figure out something better. You know what I mean? It's just what it is. It'd be 60 said, man, my grandfather set up a trust on 80 acres. It's still in the family. And that's the agenda, man, you know? That's the agenda. That's what we talking about, shoot. What you mean 11 fingers, Pope? I don't get that. I don't get that. What you mean by that, bro? 11 fingers. I missed something. That 11 hours of work, you know. Hey, man, so today I go into the studio. You know, going to put some things together, you know, get some things done, man. And I ran into a snafu. You know, I ran again, man. Just it seems of late, this has been, you know, the outcome. I go to take care of something, man, and then boom, something is in my way. Something's trying to stop me from doing what, you know, my plan is. You know, what I set out in my day to do. So I go in there this morning, man, to take care of some stuff. And lo and behold, everything goes wrong, you know. So while there, I said, okay, let me, you know, work towards putting some stuff together in terms of content for the other channel, you know. And that it was crazy how that went down. Somebody has sent me something from TikTok dealing with these youngsters, you know what I mean? So I'm checking that out. You know, they it's some park acting wild, you know, wilding out, whatever. And for whatever reason, that went off before it was supposed to go off. And then up popped this young brother, you know, standing, he posing, you know, fronting or whatever. And the brother just talking to him out of nowhere, you know, about his demeanor. You know, you know, the brother was getting at him like, man, you know, hey, what's going on with you? You know, he see the energy. You know, he can feel the vibe and everything. He's talking to the brother. He said, man, whatever going on with you, man, you got to let it go. You got to let it go, man, because if not, no, what he said is you got to cry, man. You got to cry and get that shit out of you, man, because, you know, basically it's not a good look. And the little brother was like, you know how our brothers are, our young kings are, they hard. They hard as granite. You know, they harder than us. You know, ain't been through half shit we've been through, but hey, it's their time now, and they see it as being, you know, this hard road or experience they're on. So the brother talking to him, he say, man, you know, he letting him know, man, I'm not a threat. You know, I'm here to talk to you. I respect you, no disrespect, blah, blah, blah. He said, but I see it in you, man. You gotta you gotta cry, man, because it's something you hold, you know. The little brother get to talk, man. The brother said, man, when he get to action about his family, and that was it. You know, the dams burst, the dams went, you know, were open, you know, and he just started letting it out, man. And I tell you, that was something for me to see, because I think that's true for a lot of our young kings and queens. They holding in a lot of hurt, anger, and disappointment, you know, fears, you know, uncertainty, feelings and thoughts that they're alone. Nobody got their back, man. I think that holds true for a lot of our young kings and queens. But the way the brother went about, approaching this young brother, man, was something to me, and I felt that wholeheartedly. And so I collected it. I said, I want to show this to Get Down so that they see, man, what's really going on with our young kings, man. Yeah, man, they put on this facade because that's all it is. We all know that. Those who are of age, who've been in the streets, started in the streets, we know, man. We know that shit. That's what it was for the most part. We put on these fronts, these facades. All the while, man, we were just, we were fragile. We didn't know how to deal with life in terms of how it was coming at us. Nobody was lacing us or whatever, man. Anyway, the brother got at this young brother, man, and I was like, damn, man. Imagine how many brothers are going through that just like that. And sisters, just like that. Having to deal with this world, man, that don't give a flick about you. Always want to use you till they use you up, And these are youngsters, man, going through this, Again, I mean, I don't think it's any different. The times are different. It's 2026 as opposed to 1970, 1975, 80, 85, 90, 95, 2000. You know what I mean? You get the drift. Man, it's crazy. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But I did collect that piece, that clip, and I wanted to run it. I'm going to run it because I think we should see this. We should see this, because most of us don't know this is occurring with our young brothers, that this is happening internally with our young brothers. And again, our young sisters as well. They probably going through double what the young brothers are going through, I'm without further ado, I'm a drop that, very shortly. I notice everyone's not in here, and that's fine. I'll probably run it again at the end of this Get Down. But let me read a couple of more of these, and I'm going to drop that right now just to get so you guys can get a gist of what I'm talking about. And I'm pretty sure a lot of us can relate. A lot of us have seen this. Hold on. A lot of us have seen and witnessed this amongst our young brothers, and I found it very interesting. And I'm hoping as well, I like to think that you will, as brothers, as men and kings, will see it as well. All right. That being said, let me hit this B6 said, man, I watched Roland Martin book show yesterday. The book is Kings and Pawns, Jackie Robinson and Paul Robeson. Now, I caught something on Roland Martin, man, and Roland Martin is tripping. My opinion, a lot may not agree with what I'm saying, but we can talk about that. Roland Martin is tripping. Roland Martin is tripping on brothers and sisters about, let's say, not voting. Brothers and sisters saying, we're not voting. If our votes don't bring us nothing, then you can't count on our vote. Our votes, if they bring us something, then you can count on our vote. But most of them are saying, most of our brothers and sisters saying, we got to see show and tell right now, before the midterms, before November, before 2028, what you giving us now to get this vote? You know what I mean? Roland Martin, he goes in, he's cussing people out, calling them punks, punk ass bees. And hey, I was shocked. But I thought about it. I thought about Roland Martin. What it made me do when I witnessed this from him, it made me reflect on who he is in terms of, okay, what is his education? What is he pushing? What is he about? These things, I think those things matter. We have this thing now, and a lot of us, we don't pay attention to this. I'm sure a lot of us don't know this, but there's now a new sheriff in town, so to speak. You know, again, we go with these identities, these labels: Black American, African American, indigenous, so indigenous American. Now we got the FBAs, and this seems to be this conflict now, you know, amongst blacks over a label, over a name. And we haven't figured out yet, man, that they've been giving us, assigning us names. They've been doing this, you know, and it made me think about FBA. Okay, where that came from? Then he say, well, this came from 2 or 3 brothers back in 2019. Okay, man, who y'all know? Who y'all get this from? You know, we have to be mindful that, man, there are a lot of forces at work, and they are at work with individuals, man, whether these individuals are aware of who they're dealing with or not. You know, these people know how to not necessarily inseminate something into us, but they know how to influence our thoughts, you know, through conversations, and, you know, spark what we would call an idea about something, you know. But anyway, this FBA thing, I think, is getting out of hand. And in another year or so, this can be this thing where there's this fraction. There's already fraction, but, you know, it can be this thing now where, you know, there's more division amongst us over a label. FBA does not describe any more than African American and Black American who we are in terms of our lineage, in terms of where that lineage comes from. They're just labels, man, you know. And it seems that we're beginning to be at odds about labels: Negro, colored, African American, Black, you know, the M word, you know. Hey, man, all this stuff, man, it plays a role in our division. It just does. And you know, I may be far removed from being able to express and explain this to those who are actually caught up in this shit in such a way that they don't want to hear it, especially if I don't explain it to their satisfaction. And again, that's just not FBA. That could be African American, African Black, Black American, whatever. All these labels and titles that have been handed to us, hey, man, they really mean nothing because we aren't the ones who went and researched. We know our history in terms of our identity, not where we came from initially, just by geography, not just geographically speaking. You know, this shit is crazy, man. But I'm seeing this shit every day. Every day. But Roland Martin, he's on some more shit. He acts like he's a boule. That's what he acts like. He's entitled to dictate, gatekeep. Hey, man, knock that shit off. See, I'm telling you, as a people, we pick up bad habits because we're looking at shit through a white gaze, through the lens of other people. You know, we won't admit it. That's the majority of us. We won't admit that for the majority of us, for a lot of us, man, how we see the world, how we see our issues, our concerns, our grievances, whatever, man, or through the lens of other people. Our minds are rigged and wired to think based on what other people have thought for us to think. And, you know, the truth is, man, a lot of us, even when we get a little prestige, or when we get a little money, or we get a little authority, or we get, you know, a little recognition, you know, we don't want to hear that, because in the minds of these individuals, we done this on our own. And that's not true. I said this last week, man, and I may have offended some brothers and sisters, kings and queens, and that's not intentional. That, okay, man, as long as we're part of the system, man, then the system is in us. It runs us. And that starts with the thoughts, the mindset. Because if you're in the system, if you're working a 9 to 5, you're paying taxes, you're paying bills, you are a part of the system. You will cease to be when you no longer partake in it. But up until that point, let's be realistic, man, in terms of what we're doing. We are participating with the system. We all know, and brothers and sisters, we all know the system is against us, and yet we participate in it, you know. But Roland Martin went in on brothers and sisters about this voting thing, you know, about this voting thing. I'll pull up the exact piece that I saw, the content, and I ran across it messing with Savvy Sabs, you know, this sister up near in Maryland somewhere, DC somewhere. And she goes in on brothers and sisters. She, you know, hey, you know, she goes in. I got to give her that, you know. And she aired that piece. And I was shocked. You know, initially I had nothing against Roland Martin. I did it, you know. A lot of what he talked about I didn't agree with, but that didn't, you know, sway me one way or another. It wasn't until I heard this stuff, and this was maybe 2 days ago. I said, oh, hell no. You know, I'm going to find that for us right now just to validate what I'm talking about. But Roland Martin, you know, I guess, man, it all depends, man, on the individual and how they see other individuals. Do they relate? Do they relate, you know? But yeah, you know, Roland Martin, man, you know, I admit some of the stuff he do is informative and educational, you know, but at the same time, man, if it's not that around the board, you know, if it's not all encompassing, you know, if you're doing that just because it serves this purpose or that purpose and not everything, then, you know, that means there's a discrepancy, you know, there's a bias there, you know, and a lot of us need to understand that, amen, that we're going to go into this thing, man, we got to go into this thing as a unit. We, you know, we can have biases, we can agree to disagree, but not to the extent where, man, we going in on the collective, on the unit, on the people. That accomplishes nothing but more division, you know. So, you know, that's all I got to say about that, man. Polk says, man, Bub, I missed yesterday. How did the wheel of life turn out? I'm off work and just sat down and pushed the send button without finishing my statement. It's all good, bro. I wrote down some of the things the brother in terms of suggestions for the wheel. We got 3, as you know, Polk. There are 3 spokes that are named. All right. I think I still have it up here. Let me see. All right, hold on. I got it. I still have it here. All right, I still have it here. Let's go look at that right quick. No, first, let me drop this clip, man. Let me drop this clip right now. This is some powerful shit. It's short, but y'all focus on this, man. Focus on this.
Yo,
what's up?
Why you so hard, man?
I've been hard, man.
You look like you only about 5.
Yo, I'm gonna call you back.
It looked like he was just clowning him, but what he said next hit deeper than anyone expected.
You look like you about, no disrespect. You look like you're about 11.
Man, I'm probably old enough to be a pop OG. You don't even know.
Wow, man. You know what you need? You need to cry.
I need to cry, man.
You need, listen, I'll tell you what, man. No disrespect, fam. I ain't trying to disrespect you. I'm saying you need to just get a good cry out, man, and get that thug,
Man,
get the thug out of you.
I'm in the streets getting this money. You don't need to cry, man.
Come on, man. Do you got your mom, your mother and father still alive? Your grandma, you got a grandmother? Your
Last year, OG.
You see, let it out, man. That's it, man. Let it out. You don't gotta be no thug. Yo,
What's up?
why you so hard?
That's crazy to me, man. I think, you know, for me, that says a lot about our brothers and sisters, man. You know, a lot of them think they're alone out here, you know. Nobody's relating. At the very least, no one wants to listen. You know, everybody want to talk. You know, just tell them what they don't want to hear. No one's really listening in terms of, okay, what's affecting them. Now, I say that to say, I don't say that to say, okay, man, just go for the okie doke, you know, just let them tell you anything. No, I'm not an advocate of that. But I think when you talk to our young brothers and sisters, our young kings and queens in a certain way, we begin to learn things about them. You know, we come to know that they're going through some shit too, man. You know, that they are going through some shit, man. You know, and a lot of them don't think. A lot of them think no one cares. You know, that can be a problem for us. If this generation and the one right under it thinks that no one gives a damn, you know, when I think all these young brothers and sisters want, these young kings and queens, our next leaders, gods and goddesses, man, all they want, man, is some understanding. You know, it's on us to get past, you know, the bravado, man. You know, to get past that toughness, that thug mentality. We got to start talking to these brothers and sisters, you know, to get to the core of the issue. You know, and that includes all of us. You know, that includes each and every one of us, man. But I saw that today, man, and it fucked with me. It really, it affected me. You know, it affected me, man, deeply. To see that, you know, to see that, you know, but I think it speaks to the larger problem. It speaks to what our young brothers and sisters are going through. You know, they out there, man, because damn, man, you know, they think they're by themselves. They're alone. Everybody that's supposed to love them ain't loving them. You know, they're doing their own thing and they're just leaving them to their own devices. You know, that hey, man, you figure it out. You figure it out, you know. It's kind of similar to back in the day as kids, we get kicked out of the house. And I don't mean literally, but go outside, get out of here. You know what I mean? And boom, we go out that front door into the world, man. Nobody's really lacing us or whatnot, you know. A lot of our, back in our day, experienced a whole lot of shit as a result of that. Molestation, all kind of shit, man. You know, SA'd and all kind of shit, you know. We're in this day and age, and we like to think, or we tend to think that what took place in our time won't happen or don't happen in this time. And that's wrong to think that. It's still going on, man. Our brothers and sisters, man, still need love. You know, they still need talking to, but in a way that will allow them to open up, man. You know, they holding this shit in. We don't know what they're holding in. There ain't nobody willing to find out, you know, not on a scale that would really make a difference. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I found that to be just, you know, they was profound, and it was something that, you know, I said to myself, let me show y'all this, you know. So that's what that was, man. Yeah. Polk said, man, anyway, I was trying to say that my supervisor job has me working all around the clock. I did get Bo Peep to pull up Bam yesterday at the ceasefire. What happened yesterday at the ceasefire? I missed something. Come on, Polk, say it ain't so. I did get Bo Peep to pull up on Bam yesterday at the ceasefire. I missed something, obviously. Lace me, man. Lace me. I see that statement, B60, and I have an opinion about Jackie Robinson also. You know, Jackie Robinson, to me, in my mind, said he was just concerned about breaking the barrier, being that guy that was allowed into the NBL, Major League MLB, Major League Baseball, first black guy. And that's all that seemed to have mattered to him, because his agenda was, okay, I'm gonna get in here and I'm gonna represent the people, but he got in there and he didn't represent like the people thought he should have, or he didn't represent in such a way to where, hey man, yeah, I'm here, but this is what's going on. He was kind of like more just more accommodating. He wasn't willing to risk or jeopardize his standing, being the first black man allowed in the Major League Baseball. He didn't want to jeopardize that. And when he was asked certain thing about the culture, about our people, he said shit that, again, reflected an individual, or it described the individual looking at, our situation, at, what we're in through, a white gaze, and that was sad, man. That was sad. There's others. There are others. Trust and know that. There are others. And at some point, I imagine their names will come up. There are others, man, who did the same thing, But yeah, man, I don't know. Folks say, man, I'm still out of town, but I'm here today for my favorite live podcast, my external family, a family that I see and vision through the RGC, and of course, top host of the year, Big Bub, under at UTG. Appreciate that, Poke, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate you, brother. And glad to know that you still in line with this get out, even though you're somewhere else doing your work, Appreciate you tapping in, bro. B60 said, I didn't listen to his political opinion. I take that you're talking about Roland Martin. All right. Yeah. All right, Anthony. I see you, Antonio. Boom. Yeah, I think, that's the problem, man, with what we're faced with today in terms of our people, man, and these issues that affect each and every one of us the same, is that we're not on the same page. We're not on the same page. And that's not just here in, the continental U.S., but yeah, around the world, internationally, we're not on the same page. And that's a problem. And then as long as it's like that, then the apparatus or the tool, divide and conquer, can always be manipulated and used against us. That's the problem. I agree. We have to be on one accord, man, internationally. Real spit. Okay, Poke say, Bub, I don't know if I agree with you about Roland Martin. He, along with his show, has fought for our people on the level he has been blessed to do so. You go on to say, Poke, we have so many issues and problems that hold us back, the grounds of attack have to be done on that level of plight. I feel it's all needed. We always say all men on deck. Can we really say that? What Roland Martin's fighting about don't count. I caught on things from watching this show that I wouldn't have paid attention to. So I wouldn't have paid attention to. That's why it's hard. That's why it gets so hard for blacks sometimes, because we are our own worst critics. And then you're going to say, where would we be without Under the Groove? Well, with me, I've been able to see and feel hope is not only near, but it is here. Appreciate that. I'm going to go find this, and I'm going to tell you why I said what I said, Poke, because what I heard, what I saw, it disturbed me. It disturbed me. And, again, before that, in terms of what Roland Martin was tripping on and talking about, I didn't have a negative opinion, so to speak, or didn't think of him in one way or another. I would look at his content. I would, because, yeah, he would address some things or some of those things that affects each and every one of us every day. So I was on board in terms of, listening to his message. But when I saw that, there's no excuse for that. Let me go find that right quick. Hold on. Let me find this right quick. And it's in here. Just give me 1 second, everybody. I'm pretty sure it's in here. I just seen it today. Okay, hold on. Yeah, not good, man. Not good, what I saw. There's one he say, bumping gums is not a plan, Pope. Hold on. Okay, I don't know. I gotta find this. And I know it's around here because I just saw it. 1 second. Okay, hold on. I know what I gotta do. All right, let's see what comes up. No, man, that ain't the one. There you go. Found it. All right. Now hold up. Before I drop that's in here, let me go set it up. What the hell? Hold on, everybody. All right, let me go drop. Oh shit. I just fucked up really bad. There we go. All right, before I drop this in here. Where'd it go? Damn. No. Ah, here we go. All right, there we go. Roland Martin is wrong. Okay. Now, Pope, I hope you watching this. And I'm not going to play the whole thing, everybody. I'm just going to get to, the gist of the matter. All right. Make sure we all good to go. All right. All right, here we go. Check this out, Pope.
So, Roland Martin, podcaster, YouTuber, even though he makes fun of us that are YouTubers, he's on YouTube too. He is very upset. And he's upset with those of us that are Black media that basically are demanding something for our vote.
All right. Now, here's the context, Pope. He's supposedly upset because those of us, and I'm one, who will post content saying, hey, man, damn voting for any of them if they're not willing to push first and foremost reparations and hurry up and do it before the midterms. No check, no vote. You know what I mean? He got a problem with that. Why would you have a problem with that? Let's get to this.
So let's hear what he had to say, and then we'll get into it.
And I'll say it again. I want MAGA to be completely decimated in November. I want them to lose the House. I want them to lose the Senate. And all you punk asses out there, let me be real clear, especially some of you loud ass folk who proclaim to be FBA, oh man, he or she'll book dancing for the Democrats. All y'all can go fuck yourselves. Because let me be real clear. I know what these people are trying to do. And you damn right. I want them to lose the Senate race in Michigan. We're going to play my interview with one of the candidates. I want them to lose in Alaska. I want them to lose in Maine. I want them to lose in Georgia. I want them to lose in North Carolina. I want them to lose in Texas. I want them to lose in Florida. I don't care, because what these people are doing, they want you to destroy any and everything in Black America. Again, all y'all FBA, B1, ADOS folks, it don't matter. There is not a single Black attorney who is representing a family who has been the victim of police violence who has any faith that this Department of Justice will intercede and prosecute them on civil rights violations. So all y'all punk asses out there who claim y'all so pro-black, let me say it again. This DOJ don't give a damn. Donald Trump has said 100% immunity for any cop. So, and you're right, the two cops in the Breonna Taylor case, they dropped the charges. I can name case after case. So if y'all can call me whatever names you want to, and y'all can sit here and do all you little punk ass podcasts and talk behind your microphone about why y'all Simple Simon assholes are saying that Black America is being under assault.
Let's pause it there.
All right. So, yeah, let's pause it there. Here's the thing, man. And this is from my perspective. Hey, man. So Roland Martin is talking about going to the polls just to vote out MAGA candidates to get, to get, I don't know what the intent is, to take over. He said to take over the Senate and the Congress. All right. Listen, man, that don't mean jack. That don't mean jack. And I'm going to tell you why. For the simple fact that you have what you call the AIPAC, man. That's the American Israel Public Affairs Committee. They don't care what party you under, Democrat or Republican. What they do care about is Israeli interests, the interests of Israel. Now, and I say that to say this. Who Donald Trump support? Does he support America first or Israel first? So you can go and vote in all the people you want. Most of the people who are already in seat, who are already in the office, blacks especially, politicians, they do what the AIPA wants them to do, what they dictate. This is why you got all this money involved in politics. What he's saying don't make sense. What he said, I wouldn't give, man, you can have two Republicans left in the Senate and in Congress and all the rest of the Democrats. It's not going to change nothing, man, because the AIPAC, Israeli lobbies run the political structure in the United States. Everybody knows this. It's all over YouTube. It's in American media. Everybody knows it. They are in everybody's pockets, man. They contribute over hundreds of millions of dollars just to dictate the course of politics in the United States. This is why you got America sending weapons and bombs to Israel to bomb Gaza and Lebanon and Iran, because our politicians vote to send them that. They do that because the Israeli lobbies go and say, hey, you got a campaign coming up. We want to contribute 50 million to your campaign to get you reelected. Oh, no shit. Okay, but we're going to need you to, toe the queue. Man, you can vote out MAGA all you want. It's not going to change nothing. Instead of him saying, hey, man, we need to vote out Israeli lobbies, keep them out of American politics so the politics aren't corrupt. And then we'll take it from there. And not only that, but the constituents, those who vote for these candidates, let these candidates know this A, B, and C. And if you don't do that, we're going to recall your ass. That's the way to go about doing it. Just to have them getting mad because people are not going to vote, that don't solve nothing. And then you go get people to vote, don't solve nothing, especially when you don't know what the individual is doing that you voted in the office. If he's doing shit behind your back, how you going to know? Most people don't have the time of the day to go and research what their politician is doing, who they're taking money from, whether they're corrupt or messing with corrupt lobbies, what these lobbies request of these individuals. Man, I just did a piece today. These same people that he want to win in the midterms, Democrats, hey, man, these brothers and sisters of the CBC, Congressional Black Caucus, are all bought and paid for by the Israeli lobby. They just passed some shit 2 days ago. I'm surprised he ain't talking about this, where a black Democrat out of New York, Gregory Meeks, went to the Congressional Black Caucus and told them, hey, man, this new spy bill, well, it ain't a new spy bill, but it's coming up to be resubmitted so it can be implemented again. He said, hey, man, we want a clean reauthorization of this spy bill. This spy bill was created to gather information on terrorists in other countries. It's a security, it's an international, it pertains to American security. Guess what? They're using it on blacks, man. I'm not making this shit up. These same people he want us to go vote for are doing this, man. They're going along with the U.S. government to spy on us through our cell phones, through our laptops, our tablets, anything we do. Blacks specifically. They first used it when they had only supposed to use it on terrorists and, you know, security issues, you know. They used it on Black Lives Matter first in 2020. And that didn't get found out till a couple of years later. Now the bill is up for renewal. Gregory Meeks, through his handlers, the AIPAC, there is Israeli lobbies. Hey, man, we need this thing to go through. We don't need the blacks to stop this bill or, you know, to slow it down. We need it to be clean and reauthorized. The dude went over there to the CBC. It's, hey, man, it's documented, bro. I'm not making this shit up. And told them, stand down. Let the bill pass. He know full well because he's a part of the security apparatus for the government. He was chairperson of it. I'm doing a piece on it now, man. I promise y'all, this dude is bought and paid for. He's received millions of dollars from the AIPAC. Not just him, Jim Clyburn, Hakeem Jeffrey, Cory Booker. Hey, your favorite politician, name them. And they've been bought and paid for. So, but Roland Martin wants black people to go and vote, to just vote out, get Republicans out of office so that they can deal with Trump and the DOJ. That's not going to change nothing. The only way you're going to really be able to deal with the DOJ is to deal with Trump. Get Trump out of office. You push Article 25. You get his ass impeached, get him out of the seat. You can vote in all the Democrats you want. Trump has executive orders. He has executive powers that won't mean shit. It don't make sense, man. It don't make sense that Roland Martin would go in like that on the people. And again, I'm saying, man, for one, who are these candidates he want to vote, make sure that he wants to make sure win seats from the Republicans? Who are they? Where they been getting their money from? Where they getting their funding, their support? They're not coming in the community and raising $10 million to run a campaign, man. So where they getting the money? Roland Martin is on his own trip. I mean, I agree police brutality should be non-existent. We've been going through that shit too long. I get it. But for him to go in on the people like that, and hey man, that's some bullshit. That's bullshit. Again, who are these candidates? How much money have they taken from the Jewish lobby? And again, the Jewish lobby, man, their one priority is for Israel first, not America first. Straight up. And again, research these candidates. These Democrats that Roland Martin trying to push into winning elections in the midterm. Who are they? Where'd they come from? Because a lot of the candidates we have now who are black, they've already sold us out. A lot of them come from where we come from nothing. Now they are millionaires, man. What is Roland Martin talking about? You only make $174,000 a year being a representative of the United States in that whatever district you represent. These people are worth millions of dollars. man, I'm telling you, this shit don't make sense. And again, man, you know, what is it gonna change if every Democrat went and voted and removed MAGA candidates or politicians from their seats and filled them with Democratic seats? How's that gonna change the DOJ? It's not. It's not gonna change the DOJ. Even if you had the votes to, you know, want to have committees on what the DOJ, they corrupt this and that, Trump can still go behind all that and pass an executive order, an executive decision, and let go what he wants to go through. He has that right. Some of the shit you'll be fighting in court, the Supreme Court, for the next 2-3 years. All the while, he's still doing what he's doing. Roland Martin's wrong for that shit. You know, black people are trying to look. I'm telling you, man. I just think, yeah, in a lot of respects, man, we're going about a lot of this shit backwards. Let me play a little bit more of this just for y'all, man.
For just a second, if you guys don't mind. President, he's in that club.
All right, hold on.
Whereas he has a very here, okay. So Roland Martin, just a second, if you guys don't mind. So let me break this down for everybody here, okay. So Roland Martin, he interviewed Kamala Harris. He has a very, you know, has an in with the Democratic Party, right? So he can interview presidential candidates. He interviewed Hillary Clinton when she was running for.
Why would he interview Kamala Harris? And this goes for any of us, all of us, man. Do our research, man. Know what the hell is going on with these people. Kamala Harris is not who she says she is. Not only that, but it's documented. She went on national TV and said she would not give blacks reparations, period, point blank. Then asked, what will you do for black people? She said, nothing. Why would he interview her? This interview took place 2 years ago. This is public knowledge. Why would he interview her? Why would he interview Hillary Clinton, of all people, who helped author or pass or push through Congress and the Senate the 3 strikes law, who is also a known WASP out of the South? Why, man? So he's plugged in. What does that mean? Man, I don't like that shit. That's some bullshit. That's bullshit. Then that means he support people that he know don't give a damn about us. And he's talking about we got to deal with the DOJ because they're beating up and killing black people. What you think they gonna do? Same people, same system. That shit backwards to me, man. I just say it's backwards.
Or our president, he's in that club.
Look at his sweatshirt, y'all. Now, see, this is something we miss too about a lot of our people. It says alpha. All right.
Rest of us are not. Okay. Like, I'm grassroots. I don't even have sponsors on this show. Me
neither.
Many of us that are in this independent media,
right,
that are black, because that's who we're talking about. Many of us, we don't have that type of access. We are not in those spaces that Roland Martin is in.
Can you imagine them, Kamala Harris, willing to sit down with me? Trust me, man. I'd tear her ass up. That would go for any of them. I'm gonna do my homework and I'm gonna hit them with facts. You know, I'm gonna ask them about their fucking bank account, where they got their money from. I'm gonna be on their neck. It would never happen. So they would go to individuals like Roland Martin, who's gonna give them a fair deal, a fair shake. He gonna give them a pass. Nah, man.
And what has happened over time is that people have started to ask the question, why should I vote for someone if I'm not getting anything in return?
Come on, man.
And in particular, you know, it didn't start going into 2024. This started earlier.
Long time
But in
ago.
particular, he said FBA and ADOS. Black Americans have started to ask, or past couple years, I'd say,
Longer.
why should I vote for you if I'm not getting anything in return? In other words, making demands, which other groups do. I'll remind you, in 2020, I remember the Latino community making demands to Bernie Sanders.
Come on.
Oh, I remember all of this.
And now here, black people are saying, nah, man, we not voting for nobody. We don't give a damn. Show and tell. In other words, give us something and we'll let you know how we going to go about this. And that's a problem for this brother. He going in on brothers and sisters because we're saying, nah, man, we tired of being okey-doke, hoodwinked and bamboozled. We vote these people in the office, man, and guess what? As soon as they get there, they forget about us. And they will concern themselves with everybody else. And in fact, most of the money that they allot, they vote to send or to spend, it goes outside the country. It don't even come in those individuals' districts or areas. It never reaches their constituents. That go for all of them, man. Go look around the country, man. Homelessness, man, is just crazy. Mental health is crazy. Drug addiction is crazy. You know, education, economics, you know, jobs, the community, the streets and shit, the housing. Come on, man. What? This dude crazy.
Other groups make demands.
And we can't make demands.
There was demands towards Kamala Harris coming out of the uncommitted movement, which started in Michigan, which said ceasefire, arms embargo. Other groups make demands. And what I was saying for a couple of years ago was that eventually it's going to get to the point where people are going to start to feel as though, why am I going to continue to vote for you if you're not doing anything for the community in return? Why?
So why? If you're taking me for granted, why would I keep letting you do this? You know, and they see this coming. Here's the thing about the Democratic Party. They see this actually happening in real time. Where blacks are saying, man, F all y'all. So guess what they do? They vote to pass bills to allow people from other countries to come in. And they're not coming in because they want a better shot or a better, chance at life. That could be it for them, but they're coming in, they're letting them in because they need them on the voting ranks. Because they know blacks is like, man, we not fucking with none of y'all. So they got to go because they're unsure about the black vote now. They have to go and find people and bring them here. And when they bring them here, guess what they give them? They give them money. They give them debit cards, EBT, a place to stay, automobiles, and a job. Get the hell out of here, Roland. Roland Martin full of shit, man.
Why am I voting for you? Now, Roland seems to have a problem.
He got
with
a problem with it, major.
But every group does it.
Hold on.
Yes. How dare people make demands for their vote? How dare they?
And this is what we talk about. Our votes count for something.
Every single day, and it is being led by Donald Trump and his Department of Injustice, Nola.
Absolutely, 100%. And honestly, I have a message for Cash Patel because.
And I'll just stop it here for a second and we'll get back to
they
something
all
else.
On board.
Because here's the other thing that I wanted to say. He brought up the issue of police brutality. Okay. This was also a problem under the Biden administration, which was really interesting to me.
Worse.
It was like after Biden won, all of a sudden, a lot of people stopped talking about those cases, including those who were Democrats.
Okay, I'm gonna let that go for right now, man. But yeah, so that's what I know about Roland Martin, Polk. And it's only until we do our research that we start to really look at people through a microscope. We begin to see the small shit that's hidden. in terms of, you know, their objectives, you know, their mindset or whatever direction they want to go in. A lot of these brothers and sisters, y'all, let me tell the truth. We talked about this. I said this before. I said, here's the problem with our community. Because we have nothing, the best and brightest minds of our community leaves the community. Well, they're recruited. They're recruited from elementary, man, junior high, high school, college. Them people go recruit them early. This is why they have all these tests. They want to know who's super intelligent and who's not. And they watch them, you know, and they start to groom them at a certain age. You know, they provide for them full scholarships to Ivy League colleges, you know. They get them there, man, and they show them a whole different get down. But in the process, they want, you know, in the process, these individuals are people, they latch on to this get out. They begin to see or look at the world through that white gaze. They'll never come back to the community. They never come back to the community. They go to these, included, let me just say something. Also, HBCUs do this. They recruit from there too. You know, and in these HBCUs, a lot of them are led to believe they need to be from a fraternity. All this fraternity shit is that's more the same, man. That's their get down. That's not our get down like that. No, but and a lot of these guys, they good. Hey, I'm alpha, you know, and they got they network, and most of them work for the system or as a part of the system. These people know exactly what they're doing. Roland Martin is one of them people that got that mindset. He want to be a part of the system. He thinks, okay, we can buck the system. We can make it work for us, and he's wrong. You're not going to change the DOJ, Donald Trump. In fact, you're not going to, I don't care who fills the seat after Donald Trump. You're not going to change nothing. The police department is an agency that's hired to do a job for those in power, period, point blank. And he's supposed to know better. What the hell? Rather, him, instead of him saying, hey, man, you know what? We got foreign money involved in American politics, and that's the problem. Let's deal with that. Let's deal with our politicians who take money from Israeli lobbyists. Let's stop that. Let's pass bills and laws that make it illegal to take any money from a lobbyist who really want to just, you know, manipulate the political system to do what they wanted to do. He's not doing that. He talking about Donald Trump, man, and the DOJ. And that's not the problem. Donald Trump may be the problem. You know, he get rid of him, but the fact remains the DOJ is tied into a system that is ran the way it was designed to run. Period, point blank. This shit don't make no sense, man. I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm after hearing that, man, I was convinced that Roland Martin is stuck on stupid. You know, I don't care who he interviewed. I don't care who he think he is. And that's the problem with it. I think Roland Martin want to be a part of the boule. Gatekeeper. He's a gatekeeper. You know, he want to be in the higher echelon of Black society. You know, want to be seen as one of the people in society who can say something and it stick. People will listen, you know, but for all the wrong reasons. You know, man, nah, I ain't with none of that. No more than I'm with politicians who take money from outside influences, you know, outside, you know, countries from the outside to do the bidding of those countries on the outside of America. All that billions of dollars, man, go to other countries, Israel specifically, rather than come here where the money is needed. System broke. That's what you want to attack and address. This, you want to be mad at brothers and sisters because they're saying, man, we're not voting for this system no more because we know it's corrupt. And you're mad about that? Yeah, man, get out of here. That dude crazy. That dude is crazy. But that, you know, that's where I'm at with that though, Pope. That's where I'm at with that, man. You're okay. B6CM. And man, and then when we're talking about Jackie Robinson's, Jesse Owens, you know, all these individuals, man, they were nothing like Paul Robeson. You know, they were nothing like the Jim Browns, man, the Walter Paytons, you know what I mean, the Carlos in Olympic. You know, there were real black brothers and sisters who stood up in spite of the possibility of them losing everything. They still stood up and spoke out. You know, they didn't give a damn about what the system thought about them, you know, but they gave a damn in terms of how the system treated the people. A lot of our people are not with the shenanigans, you know what I mean? That's just a fact. And especially, it really serves the people when those individuals come from grassroots, come from the dirt and start to speak up and speak out. You know, them are the worst for the system. The system really hate these type of people, you know, but they love the Roland Martins who get up there and talk shit about something they ain't got nothing to do with nothing. They love black politicians that will come in and instead of, you know, getting voted in office and doing the bidding of the people, would rather do the bidding of those who got the most money. Again, man, none of these politicians that he's asking us to vote for are going to raise $10 million in any of their communities. So what must they do? Where are they going to get the money to run a campaign? And campaigns in America cost millions of dollars to run. They're not getting that type of money out of no black community. Straight up. Straight up. So where's that money coming from? And so then that means that money that's being funneled into their campaign from outside resources or sources, there is an attachment to that shit. There's an obligation to that. If the Adelmans want to put money in a black campaign, you better believe there's going to be something attached to it. That means you've been bought and paid for. You owe a service, you know. And again, the agenda in American politics is not America first. It's just not, you know. And the hell with Roland Martin with that bullshit he talking. That don't make no sense, man. You know, we got bigger fish to fry, man. The DOJ been doing what the DOJ been doing. Be it Trump, Biden, Obama. What is he talking about? What is he talking about, man? Obama was hard on immigration too, just like Trump. Obama bombed more people of color than Trump did. What the hell is he talking about, Trump and the DOJ? Obama was allowing, just like Biden, pigs to get away with killing brothers. What is he talking about? Bill Clinton, George Bush, all of them. They all, hey man, that's some bullshit. That's all I'm saying. That's bullshit. All right. And y'all say it was at a standstill. I'm sorry to hear that. Let me get, yeah, it's at a standstill now. I'm going to take it off the screen. I'm going to take it off screen because I don't want to, you know, we're not talking about that no more. Let's see if that goes away. You know, but listen, man, Roland Martin, again, I just think in spite, you know, I've seen him talk a gang of shit before. I've seen it. I've seen it myself, you know. He'll talk about some racist shit, some white supremacy type shit, da-da-da. He'll even talk about politics, you know. But if you're going to talk politics, man, talk about the issues that really affect the black vote. And what's affecting the black vote, man, is the Israeli lobbyist or the Israeli lobby. it steals the black vote. We'll go vote for a candidate thinking this candidate is going to do our bidding. Little do we know this candidate is paid to do the bidding of the lobbyists. It's not going to do what we need him to do. And again, just look around the communities. Look around the communities, man. Do the research. Our communities aren't improving. Not for our well-being, not for us. Come on, man. It's all cap, man. And I resent that shit from that dude. B60 said, man, Roland is really hooked up with the Dems so tight that he sometimes get out of character towards us. And again, but the Democrats who are in office get out of character with us too. I researched Maxine Waters today. I was hurt to see that she took money from the Israeli lobby. And when you go through Watts, as long as she been representing that area code, come on now. Come on now. Come on, man, for real. Nah, man. This is some bull crap. All of it is bull crap. The agenda should be, Roland Martin should be saying to the black voter, hey, man, let's vote all these bastards out and come anew. Let's get some new blood up in here. Let's get some brothers and sisters up in here in these politics that's going to represent the people. Because the ones we got in there now, most of them are old, and they play the game. They follow the rules. They follow the rules, and they've been doing this for decades. You know, their main concern is their pocketbook, their bank account. It ain't the people. So what he talking about don't mean jack, man. It ain't gonna do nothing for us. That's a shame, man. I'm tell you, I lost respect when I saw that 2 days ago. I think it's 2 days old. It might be a day old. When I saw it, I was like, oh man, to hell with him. And I'm like that about any politician or anybody who advocate politicians or votes, you know, going to politicians who ain't doing jack. Our votes, man, should mean something to us. That should mean something to us. You know, I fully agree that we're gonna vote for somebody. Hey, man, now you're not just getting my vote. What you need to do right now before you get my vote is go push this bill to make sure we get reparations, get that thing rolling. And if you're not willing to do that, hey, man, the hell with you. Man, shit. No check, no vote. That's where we start from. Give us our money. You know, give us our money. Y'all done gave everybody else some reparations, man. Where our money at? Yeah, you gonna get out of here with that shit? Nah. Sam Evans said, man, back at it like a crack addict. You ain't never lied. Hyped up, man. Man, like a big dog, man. Real shit. Yeah, man, I don't know, man. I don't agree with a lot of this stuff. Poe said, man, so we hate the messenger because he is informing us under this American bullshit, and because we lack power, he knows that a black vote for us is beating them at their game. F MAGA. No, it ain't the fact that he's just delivering a message. It's the fact that, see, here's the difference between the individual delivering the message and the individual delivering his own message, you know, and supporting it. He actually advocates what he's dropping. This didn't come from, you know, a black coalition in somebody's district and said, hey, Roland, this is what we dealing with, you know, and the DOJ and Trump, F them. Now, this is his stance. This is his stance. Because we or the people don't see it how he see it. F us. And we punks. Yeah, come on, nah, man. Nah. Nah. Again, so he's trying to act like what? He's a gatekeeper. He's dictating to us. Man, F all y'all. What? Come on, man. Nah, that's a little hubris right there. He too full of himself. He's too full of himself. Nah, man. No, sir. No, sir. Where was he when it came time to be pushing on reparations? You know, why would he interview Kamala Harris or any of them Democrats? And it's well known they all take money from the Israeli lobby. They vote to give Israel money that could be used here in the United States for our brothers and sisters who have mental health issues, who are drug addicted, who don't have a home, who don't have a job, you know, whose communities are messed up. Oh, man, nah. Get out of here, man. Nah, man, damn him. F him. F him. Yeah, F MAGA. You know, but them a bunch of fools. Why would we been all of them crashed and burned for the most part? They're jumping ship. You don't got to worry about that. Dudes like Trump were in themselves. That's the truth, man. But when you're talking about the DOJ, Trump is just following the script that's handed to him based upon the DOJ's functioning. Again, man, Obama and Biden wasn't no different. Where was he then? Where was this dude then when all them killings was taking place on brothers and sisters? Where was his outrage then? Nah, man. Nah. B60 said, man, America removed our great thinkers from the forefront a long time ago. If you can stomach rolling for an hour, you should check out that booklet show. Yeah, but see, this is nothing new. We know, coming from our community, we knew this shit a long time ago, that they went and got some of the best thinkers in the community. You know, they got rid of them, you know, and we called them back in the day sweeps. You know, they came and sweep generations, you know. And what did that do? That left this void for guys like us back in the days to just come up with no guidance, no structure. They removed the thinkers purposely so that they could fill those shoes or fill that void with the propaganda or the narratives they wanted us to have. And look at us. We took that shit and ran with it. Because Roland Martin hosts some book. Look, man, I just think it's all a con. That's what I think, man. You know, I don't hear Roland Martin saying F the system. And he gotta know better than me and you that the system ain't about us. It's not for us. The system is to wreck us or to keep us in servitude. Man, come on, man. The system allows for certain blacks from our communities, spread it all over this country, to come up. So they say, well, this is what they call it. But that come up and them coming up, there's a condition attached to it. And soon as you break or fail to uphold those conditions, we got too many examples, man. Either they'll ruin you financially, put your ass in prison, or kill you. We got too many examples. Rather than saying, hey, man, the system is rigged against us, you know, he want to talk about blacks continuing to waste their votes for shit they not getting, you know, just spend the vote for nothing. I don't agree with that shit. I think that's some crap, man. And again, you're right, B60. They birds of a feather, man. Birds of a feather flock together. They on the same bird. You know, you got the Democratic wing, you got the Republican wing, but they attached to the same bird, man. And that bird flies straight. It fly its own course. It knows how to migrate from one place to another based upon the issue. The shit is already designed to go that way. Man, they not going to change nothing, man. That ain't how that works, bro. You know, and most of y'all know this. It don't work like that. Roland Martin is asking the people to continue to waste their vote. If it actually means anything, you know, and if he's stressing that it actually works, it means something, we're just dealing with the midterms, not the presidency, then damn, man, he's double wrong for asking them just to waste their votes on individuals, man, who ain't done nothing for individuals in the community in the first place. Yeah, man. Dude, nah, hell nah. B6 said, man, two wings of the same bird, Democrat, Republican. Chris asks, man, do you believe every man has a price? Can't beat them, join them. People sell out. I think, and I've you know, I contemplated this before. That depends on the individual. You know, how this individual sees not only himself, but his life and everybody who affected. You know, some people desire wealth in the monetary sense. Some people desire that shit and they'll do anything for it, man. Some people are like that. Some people, yeah, have a price. This is some real spit. We up in prison, and I swear I walked away from the conversation because it just, damn, it was embarrassing. The first question was, would you get in the ring with Mike Tyson for $5 million? You know, so you can imagine what the consensus was. You know what I mean? And pretty much everybody was like, yeah, he'd have to catch me though. I'll be running all around the ring. You know, I mean, trying to run from this bastard. But I'll take that $5 million. I might let him hit me once, and that's it. I'm out. You know. So it went from that to, would you screw MJ, Mike Jackson? And I'm like, what? All right, I'm done with this conversation. As I'm walking away, Cat's like, hell yeah. $5 million, would you do this? Like, come on, man, for what? So that means then, yeah, we have a lot of brothers and sisters who don't have integrity, who have a price, who will sell us out, who will do anything for the check. Facts. Now, if you ask me, do I think everybody has a price? If that was your question, I would say no. I don't think everybody has a price. Everybody is not willing to sell out. You know, everybody, I don't think everybody is moralist. I trust that a lot of our people have more integrity than they know. You know? So yeah, man. No, I don't think everybody has a price. You know, I think it is only those individuals who have desires that are beyond, their capability. You know what I mean? Their wherewithal, their skill to go and get that. You know, so say, man, I want $10 million, but I ain't got it in me to get $10 million. But then here come Whitey or somebody say, I got $10 million, but I need you to give it here. The man won't even get to finish what he's asking. Give it here. Everybody has a price. When they brought that shit into the communities, man, back in the early 80s, man, everybody has a price. But that's only when individuals, man, they have I think, a low self-esteem. They not wired right, man. In their character, man, there's a lot missing. I don't care, for real, man. For real. For real, for real. Yeah, appreciate your question, though, bro. Real spit. Craig Johnson, our brother, man. Good to see you up in here. You say if they're not citizens, they can't vote. No, man, they didn't look. That's the thinking. Do you realize how many illegal immigrants were voting in the last election? In the election that got Trump to be president? Hey, man, illegal, man, nah, don't buy that. Don't buy it. And then you have this situation where they're bringing in Democrats. This is why they fight against immigration law the way they do. This is why they do that shit. It's not about, man, people coming over from another country there to have a better life, or they're running because they need political asylum and all this shit, man. It's because, man, the Democrats need to change the voting ranks and roles, because blacks are starting to ask questions, because blacks are being real careful about their vote. Blacks would rather not vote than to just give a vote to a Democrat or a Republican. They ain't doing shit for us. That's the situation. So illegal immigration, it helps to correct, or not correct, it gives the Democrats a way or a means to deal with that. Blacks not voting. Blacks sitting at home, staying home, watching that shit on TV, laughing, knowing that without us, y'all ain't shit. So the Democrats are saying, our brothers and sisters who are politicians, who are Democrats, right along with them Wyopies, are saying, all right, we got to figure out a different way. We got to figure out a different way. Let's get these votes in here, man. Illegal. They bring them in from European countries, man. South America, Africa. Let's be 100. Asia. They come from all over. They come in, man, and they give them Social Security numbers. They give them ID. They give them debit cards, money, jobs, homes, cars. That's what they do. Come on, man. Y'all don't be, hey, man. We ain't got no time to be ignorant about no get down, man. That's the get down. That's the damn get down, man. They do this. And I tell you, the coldest part about it is, bro just said it, B6 just said it. They two wings of the same bird, man. But they got us thinking they're at odds with each other. Just think about it. The system don't change whether it's a Republican or Democrat in office. As a president, it doesn't make a difference if the Republican or Democrat is the governor. It's the same program, though. It's the same program, man. And anytime, they're not able to produce on their commitment or their promise, when they're campaigning to get in the office, they'll come before the cameras after they're in office and say, oh, well, the Republicans stopped my bill, and it's an uphill battle, but don't worry, we're going to continue to fight to bring, to the people the promises we made in the campaign. Man, get out of here, man. That's no different from Trump saying, hey, man, I'm a peaceful president. I'm not a warmongering president. I don't believe in forever wars. Soon as he got in, what'd he do? Man, that's the game. That's the cap. And I don't trust none of that stuff. I don't trust none of it. Yeah, man, they could come in here. They can come in here, man. And they can come in here, man. And them people, them Democrats, will give them credentials that will enable them not just to vote, but to work and everything else, man, to receive EBT, county checks, that's just what it is, bro. That's what it is. You going to say, Craig John, by the way, bro, welcome to Under the Groove Podcast. And people, this is Touching Bases with the People, man. Hey, we love the fact that you guys are in here, man, chopping it up with us, man. But, let's stay on course. Let's focus on the focus. Craig, you said, man, both parties are indeed the same. We need to do away with the two-party system. Again, that's wishful thinking. That's wishful thinking. That's not going to happen because the majority of the population here is mostly, Wyopies. Them clear people. We're only, 12, maybe 13% of the population, And again, if we don't participate in that aspect of the system, the voting process, they'll just bring other people in from wherever, South America, wherever, to fill that void. You know what I mean? We're not gonna necessarily hurt them in that respect. The only way that we can actually hurt them, the system, is that way. We're the number one consumers, man. There's our power. We just don't know it. We don't know it, you know. They can hurry up and you know, refill the voting ranks with immigrants from Ukraine, from Russia, from China. Don't matter. People are trying to get over here. And they come, some come with ideas. And guess what? They help them with the ideas and the patents. You know, they help them to accumulate wealth. But we've been here. Nah, homie. You know, you could kill you're not going to kill it. Two-party system. That's why it's only two-party. They don't really want nobody else. P. Diddy spoke about another political system in that fray, you know, in that get down. And no sooner he started talking about that shit, they went got his ass. P. Diddy ain't nothing, he ain't worth nothing but the time they gave his ass in prison. You know, everything he accomplished went down the drain as soon as he got to talking about blacks organizing a political party. Shit, boy, what? We thought you understood, you know. No, man, they not having that shit. They not having it. Chris say brainwash, man. Yes, sir. College can be a brainwashing thing. College is a brainwashing thing. Again, so when they take autonomy from us, they take also us controlling our ecosystem. I just showed the diagram the other day. They take from us our ability, our wherewithal to establish our own hospitals, our own universities and colleges, you know, elementary, middle school, whatever. They take that from us. They take our autonomy. They take from us our ability to control, run our own ecosystem. You know? Again, man, when they did integration, that was their master stroke. They thought segregation was their master stroke. Come to find out, it didn't serve them. It actually freed us. In spite of them thinking, okay, well, we got them segregated. They still under the heel of our boot. We can still do what we want to do to them. They're going to be ruined. They're going to give up. Shit, our people thrived. And again, they only tell us about one Black Wall Street, maybe two or three. There were hundreds. Our people own property all over this damn country after being released from bondage. They don't tell us this shit, man. You know, our ingenuity, our gift, man, we the God gene, man, right? They're not going to tell us this shit. Why would they? Man, so they take our schools from us. What does that do? It harms us in terms of education. No, we can't let them educate each other. We got to be the masters of their education. And in fact, we're going to miseducate these bastards. That's what they did. Now, when y'all want some education, we'll pick and choose who we're going to let come into our Ivy League universities. That's what they do. And they actually do that. They recruit. They pick and choose. You know, that's what they do. They groom them. They groom our people, man. From their educational system. But the fact of the matter is, their educational system really wasn't what got, you know, these individuals to be noticed. It was just that inherent, you know, that gene, you know, that excellence. We ain't got nothing, though, to recruit our own people and send them to our universities. You know, well, we got HBCU. Them ain't ours. Not anymore. They probably started out like that, but the first time, again, integration, man. And it doesn't necessarily have to mean, you know, put it like this. When HBCUs start taking money from the federal government, man, that was a wrap. Because anytime you take money from somebody, there's going to be something attached to it. It's not free, man. You know, but they'll recruit from the HBCUs because, again, that curriculum is part of the mainstream curriculum. On that level, you know what I mean? You don't really get, just think about it, man. Think about it. It's different. And it's different intentionally. So, yeah, we can't educate our own people, man. No, come on, man. Then they will. And they do it for their purpose. They do it to benefit them. We ain't got shit. We don't have universities to educate our people and then keep our people here amongst us in our communities. They help build our shit up. They recruit them, they groom them, recruit them, and then boom. Next thing you know, they're living amongst them, building up their shit. So, man, a lot of these people ain't no, man, look, it's all brainwashing, man. It's all conditioning. So, you know, folks say, Bub, I feel you, Bub, and respect your analyzation of your political view. So it is the people then who ain't loud enough or even forming a much needed push for the change like they tried to do with the Target and Walmart strike and pullout. Again, though, we say this all the time, Pope. It is on us. Just, it is. You know? Again, man, if there's one or two things, bro. We either with the system or we ain't. And for those who ain't with the system, we know through history how that goes. Let's be 100. You know, you either with it or you ain't with it. If you're with it, you know, you could despise it, hate it all you want, but you're going to program. You're going to continue to go to work. You're going to continue to pay these bills. You're going to continue to respect the authority that don't respect itself. You're going to follow laws that don't apply to nobody but you. You're going to follow the system. That's what you're going to do. And I tell you, it's more than a political view, bro. It's more than a political view. You know, we're talking about human rights, man. We're talking about our lives as human beings. Damn, come on, man, get the politics out of it. Truthfully, we're talking about right and wrong. You know what I mean? Damn a Democrat or a Republican. You know, damn capitalism, communism, socialism, imperialism, damn all that. We're talking about human beings, man, and what they know in terms of what life's supposed to be about. And there's not a one of us who don't understand that this is not living. That, come on, man. As a human being, we know this is wrong. As a human being, we don't have to know politics or any of that. We can just know this is wrong. You know? I don't know. Shit, man. This is some crap. That's all I got to say. You know, and yeah, until we decide that enough's enough, this shit is going to continue. But again, that's another problem with us as a people. We're in fear of just stopping. We're in fear of just, you know, ceasing to participate in a system that we know don't serve us, ain't going to serve our kids that come after us, didn't serve those who came before us. We know this shit, and yet we continue to participate. It's until we stop is when we start, or we can begin to see changes, or when we begin to evolve. We can evolve then, because we said, hey, man, we done took the yoke off our necks and shoulders. We're not doing this no more. I think it's the fear of that. People separating themselves from a system that they've known all their lives, that their families, their mothers and fathers, grandmothers and grandfathers, great-grandmother, you know what I mean? This is what we know. And we're comfortable, even when it's wrong, with what we know, which is bad, man. That's some bad shit. That's some bad shit. We would rather deal with what we know than deal with the unknown. Come on, man. There's something wrong with that. We are explorers. We are pathfinders. You know, that's our work. That's what we're supposed to be doing. Shaking the chain psychologically as well as physically and spiritually, so that we can be all that we can be, man, without their manipulation, you know, without their coercion, you know, without them. We don't want to do that though. We've gotten comfortable with the system. We approve of the system just based on we still participate with it. That's it. That's the only way I can call that, bro. You know, when you talk about boycotting like Walmart and Target, when you go into something like that, man, here's the reality. You're supposed to do that to the end. They're not supposed to get another dime. They're not supposed to get another dime when you realize that this is how they program. They're not supposed to get nothing. They can lower their prices. They can give you some free shit all they want. But the mission should be to end them, to collapse that corporation, that business as a business. They, you know, not you not getting no more black business. And again, we are the number one consumer. We supposed to ride that out to the end. Walmart would be up in the halls of power on Capitol Hill talking about get them reparations. They'll be going to bat for us just to save themselves. But if we don't do that like that, then they're gonna be like, oh, give it 6 months, give it 3 months. We'll lose some money, and then, you know, boom, it'll pick back up. And when it do, we'll tax on, you know, we'll up the prices on shit, get that money back in a year. Hey, man, in that shit. That's how you're supposed to do that. All that go for any of them. You know, it's like when Martin Luther King and them, when they decided that they weren't going to use Montgomery's bus line, they weren't going to use the buses that provided transportation, the city buses that provided transportation for blacks, because they couldn't sit wherever the hell they wanted. When they boycotted, boom, it destroyed the city bus line. It actually literally financially, economically destroyed not just the bus company, but the city, damn near the state. All right. They messed up by negotiating, and then, okay, well, oh, we can sit with, okay, boom. And then allowed that, nah, man, we're going to end y'all, period. That should have been the example. You know, that's the precedent that they didn't set. Had they set that precedent back then, we'd be on that shit right now. Like, oh no, man, our ancestors, our forefathers, they didn't play that. No, y'all messed up with us. We want to see you in Walmart, Target. We not messing with you. You know, we gonna end you. In fact, we gonna end you. We gonna make our own goddamn grocery store or superstore. And the brothers did that too. They started, you know, working out this thing where they had a bus line. I don't know what made these damn fools stop that to go back to riding the bus with these clear people. That didn't make no sense. That's what we mess up at. So if we got an issue with Walmart or Target, that issue should last till they no longer exist. In our reality, we're not spending nothing with you, you know? And then, yeah, you can go to bat for us all you want. You messed up. We not playing ball with you no more. And believe you me, they would pull out all the stops to advocate any cause we got just to say, y'all, come on back now. We made it right. You know, that's what they would do. But nothing should be worth that. Once people, especially in the way they show us systematic racism, man, it just exists. It's here. When these corporations and companies show us what they're working with, from that point on, we should never mess with them. We should never, if a record company messes over a brother or anything, we should never mess with them. If a government messes over us, we should never support the government in no form or fashion, ever again. Ever again. And again, you know, we tend to forget this is the same government that okayed everything that happened to us, even after the fact. Democrat and Republican. I don't care which was first. If they was Democrat first or they were Republican first and then they switched, so what? It's all the same get down. This is where we go wrong at. We want to go to bat for some shit, man, that don't mean jack to us. That's crazy. Now, I said that. Greg Johnson, man, the same thing that Roland is against. Right. Folks said, Chris, man, we said that every man has a price, but a price alone, will it change the behavior of our people? Will it change the mindset? Will we then be ahead of the game to live happily ever after? Yeah. Yeah, man. And it continues, happily ever after, but give us ours for sure. So here's the thing, man. And that price could be reparations for a lot of us, right? For sure, if they gave us some money, the first thing a lot of us are gonna do is guess what? We're gonna go give it right back. We're gonna go give it right back, man. You know, I mean, that's facts, man. That's what we're gonna do. Most of us aren't gonna say, all right, you know what? We done went through some shit to get this money. Let's make sure, man, that what happened to us will never happen to any generation after us. We're not looking at it like that. We're not. You know what I mean? We're not. We think that if we get some money, we in the game. We're ahead of the game. And that's not the case. I think that the game ain't even started. If they gave us reparations tomorrow, the game is just beginning. See, because the game is for them to get every dime of that shit back and to make sure that when they get it back, we got nothing to show for it. Yeah, you know, it's just what it is, man. The ambassadors from years back gave up that money, right? That what they call that money, that that COVID money, or whatever the hell they called it. In the hundreds and billions, it was a lot of money. And in a way, you can almost say or label that as reparations, right? It wasn't. I'm just, just go along with this here. A lot of our people got more money than they ever had. What'd they do with it? What'd they do with it? And again, it was almost like a trap. So all those who got large sums, they knew who they was. They knew who they were, because a lot of them want to go buy fancy cars, jewelry, go shopping sprees and shit. I don't know, man, it's the same mindset. You get that kind of money, we get that kind of money. Some of us are not ready for that kind of money to go and do the right thing. To make sure that we never have to ask them for another dime. In fact, if we had that kind of money, we get that kind of money, then should be the time we say, okay, now let's organize, have our own politics, have our own economic system, and trust it could be done. Again, we are mathematical geniuses. We can work out any solution. We can come up with any solution to a problem. In these politics, this country is a problem. We messed up the way we are because they don't need us to come up with a solution to the problem. They got voting. They make us think. You got people like Roland Martin would think that, him cussing out other black folk because they don't want to go vote because they realize that their vote ain't getting them jack. You want to go in on them. Man, get out of here. That shit's crazy. Chris say anything but being intimate with another man. There's no price for this. I'm so sorry, Dad. That's my take on it. All right, Soldier Denise, I see you, sister. Peace to the kings. Or of the RGC. Peace to the kings as well, beloved. The problem is that these people who support Israel think that they are pleasing the Most High, all right? Not knowing that we are the Israel or the real Israelites. But you, again, and truth to power with that, Soldier's Knees, appreciate you coming in tonight. Peace and prosperity, you and yours. But again, so what we have is a confusion amongst the people. What we have is a lack of education, a lack of identity, you know? So we had these people usurp who we are. And they got some of the world thinking or trusting, believing that they are the chosen people. Europeans, you know, they talk about it enough. They say they use references in the Bible where they're talking about Israel. And we run with that stuff, man. We tend to think what's being told. We trust the narrative. We trust the narrative, man. You know, and that's where we mess up at. You know, we're supporting the wrong people. We are quick. Again, our politicians will go and support these people before they support us. They are supporting the wrong people. And he want us to go vote for these same people, man. Nah, that shit don't make no sense to me. That don't make no sense. You going to say, Soldier, the Israel they support was created in 1948. And we are so programmed that we won't even believe that we are the Israelites. Lord have mercy. We are programmed to reject whatever is not in the Bible. Their lies are dilemma. And I have to say, in support of that, you say Israel was created in 1948. Yeah, but actually them people landed over in Palestine back in 1917, 1918. What brought them there was one of the Rothschilds and Lord Belfort, who was a diplomat or a knight or whatever they call him in Britain at the time. A letter created that whole situation. They start shipping them Europeans right in there. Ashkenazis, you know, Zionists. They start shipping them in there from Britain and other parts of Europe because they were becoming a problem. They were demanding shit, you know, starting trouble. So they can, you know, the guy, Rothschild, you know, communicate with this guy. Belfort wrote him back, say, hey, man, I got a solution to this problem. We're going to create a homeland for you people. That's how that started. And yet I think they actually became a country or established, recognized in 48. Golda Meir, I think, was their first prime minister, if I remember correct. I could be wrong, you know, but anyway, when they got there, they was committing atrocities to the Palestinians. This shit was going on since 1917, 1918, you know. And again, this is what killed me about that whole area over there. You had these people who are related to these people, Arabs, and they didn't do shit. They let this shit happen. Then they had their first war. I think it was, I almost want to say Egypt. They had a 6-day war. I think they had a war maybe in the 40s. I don't remember precisely, maybe in the 50s, but I know 67 they had a war, and that was probably with Egypt. And even them they wouldn't even get together, man, and deal with these people, these usurpers. Doesn't that remind you of somebody? I'm just saying. All right, Grady boy, 757. Hey man, salute, bro. I like that. Grady boy said, man, damn, man, why only the Hoovers coming with the blackness? Yeah, man, peace and blessings, peace and prosperity, you and yours as well, bro. You know, hey man, I like to see myself or think of myself now as a member of all the tribes, bro. You know what I mean? I know where I hail from, but you know, I'm a man first, homie. You know what I mean? And I represent those who consider themselves to be men also. Doesn't matter where they from. I'm with them. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, I appreciate you up in here, man. Yeah, that was solid, though. Hey, peace and prosperity to you and yours, bro. You already know to get down. Yeah, this is Under the Groove Podcast, and this is what we call touching bases with the people. This is where we come to focus on the focus, man. So you're more than welcome to be here, bro. One thing we ask is real simple. Just respect one another. You know, we all we got, all right? This is what B1 represents black first. That's it. That's all, homie. And we can agree to disagree and still be brothers, all right? So, hey, man, do your thing. You're more than welcome to be here, bro. Appreciate you. He said, I got to read that again, man. Damn, man, why only the Hoovers coming with the blackness? Man, I was just looking at, I'm going to tell you something. Not necessarily to refute what you're saying, but I was looking at something crazy from 102 Raymond did a few days ago. And it made all the sense in the world to me. He was questioning, why is it that brothers on these so-called set days will get money together, man, do barbecues and shit, you know what I mean? They'll pool some money, but you can't get these brothers outside of a set day to come together, pool some money to do something constructive in the goddamn community. Man, I was feeling that. Man. You know, we have them. Trust and know that, black man. We got brothers, man, from everywhere. Crips, Bloods, it don't matter, man. And they with the blackness. You know, they are with the blackness, man. You know? But again, man, appreciate you for coming and joining in with us, bro. Real spit. All right, yeah. Peace and blessings right back to you, loved one. All right, Fat Rap Playboy, what it do, loved one? Right back to you, man. Peace and prosperity to you and your family, as well as the Playboys over in that area. Let's put in the atmosphere that everything is everything. And them brothers, man, are striving as they should be, man, for righteousness, the correctness in the community, man. That's what we need to be popping. That's what we need to happen, man. All around the land. All right, Alonzo. You say peace to the RGC and the U-Bub and yours. You are absolutely right. Sister Soldier Denise, I agree 1,000% with every word you said. You're not the only one. Let's be up. Pay homage to Soldier Denise, because that was some real spit. She just spit at us. That was a jewel. So pick that up, man. That's from one of the Queen Mothers, y'all. That was a jewel. And she goes on to say, Soldier Denise says, our solution lies in the children. Our solution lies in the children. All right. We must stop wasting our time with these hard-headed ass adults and focus on the 4, 5, 6, and 7-year-olds. Get in their heads while they are young and teach them to lead. All right. You have no argument from me there. I support that. That's what we do. I sure do. I sure do. I've said this many times, man, that I think that our people, man, no matter what age they are, we aren't expendable. At least not, we shouldn't be to ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Even when we got these hard heads, I just showed a clip earlier, and I don't know if you saw that clip. This brother was maybe 11, 12, maybe 13. But the clip represented something, I think, that is in all of these young brothers. And that is a desire to be better, to be loved, to not be lonely, to be heard, A lot of what we see with a lot of them are just, cries, I think, for help, That's not good. I don't say that go for all of them, but just think about that, But yeah, I do support, if we're going to be if we want to instruct or structure our youth, we need to start at them ages she just talked about. That's very important, So that way, even if some of these don't get it, and to hell with us and what we talking about, these will get it. So yeah, let's educate them. Just help nurture them. I'm in full support of that, Soldier Denise. Appreciate you, girl. Fat Rat Playboy said, man, separation or annihilation? Which way we going? Man, because if we stay, it's the latter. If we go, we can save ourselves. We can save ourselves. I trust that, you know. But if we stay, man, they got some shit in store for us. We're not going to last long, especially in this biotechno or technology age. We're not going to last long. I saw something today, man, that shook me to my core. I'm going to play it tomorrow, but this is in terms of technology and experimentation on us. They got some shit in effect, man. Nanotechnology type shit. And it's already in effect. I'm going to play this tomorrow, man. So y'all keep that on your brain. Y'all want to see this. You're going to want to see this. Crazy shit, man. Crazy shit. Yeah. Annihilation. You know, annihilation. And you know, experimentation, annihilation through experimentation. Put it like that. Put it like that. Lonzo said, man, peace to you, soldier. Peace to you, soldier, to you and your family. Nothing but love, sis. All right, poke up in there. Say, man, so what should the Black political party be today? How do we honor our party and push? Why is it just Dems and Republicans? How do we separate from the respect of our own Black selves? How do we separate for the respect of our own Black selves? Now, and again, this is just my opinion in terms of political party. I say I'm of the mind that separation is the best thing for us. And when I say separation is the best thing for us, I mean that in totality. I mean that in totality. Damn they system, damn all that shit. All that. I was asked this maybe a week or so ago, because we're having a major debate, a discussion about it. Well, debate is good. It's okay, where we gonna go? You know? Valid question. Valid question. You know, but anybody with some sense, before they want to leave something, you know, behind, where the hell we going? Of course, we're gonna know, we want to know where we're gonna go. Of course. You know, a lot of us say, oh man, Africa, they gonna be saying maybe. But I think first and foremost, what we got to understand is, and this is, I think, this is the part a lot of us miss. So let's say 2/3 of us want to separate. Do you know that they will fight us to not do that? And I don't mean the other 1/3 of us. It'd be them too, probably, but them people, nah. That would be nah. They'll say something about a threat to national security or something, you know, and then just say, okay, well, we want 1/3 of the country. We'll take 1/4 of the country. We name it our own. You know, it'd be a problem. Yeah, I say separate fully and completely. But again, I have to address it, to acknowledge that, okay, separate to where or to what, you know? And that's something for sure that has to be discussed, you know? Again, I'm not advocating we put the cart before the horse, you know? I'm just telling you, okay, the end result should be us extracting ourselves from these people. They mean us no good. Because if we do stay, they're going to annihilate us. They're going to figure out a way. Either they're going to do it or they're going to figure out a way for us to do it to ourselves, which is already actually happening. You know, just not on a grand scale, like, you know, a war. You know, every day we losing 10,000 people, 5,000 people, you know, by our own hand, you know. But it's going to be either or, you know. So I'm in agreement. Yeah, before we go, where we going? That's something to be worked out. You know, that's something to be worked out. So Soldier Denise says, man, bring up our own leaders, council members, city, county, and state representatives. We create them ourselves. And again, though, what do we create them for? In what capacity would they serve? On what form? What process are they going to become a part of? Is it the process, the political process that exists already? You know, or do we stay a part of this process? Because if that's the suggestion, I think then that we're still putting ourselves in harm's way. You know, we're putting ourselves in harm's way. You know, people would probably, you know, sell us out again. You know, if we remain in the system. If we remain in the system. Craig Johnson said, hey, thanks, Bub. And definitely we can hurt them by controlling where and with whom we spend our money. I agree. That's the main, that I think that would be the first approach to letting them know, okay, it's time now. We're about to get ready to go. You know, you know, real shit. But without our dollars, you know, and I don't think we get this. I think a lot of our people don't get this. Our dollars would begin the collapse of the economy. You know what I mean? The economy is based on consumerism. It just is. You know, it's why they created debt like that for us to go and use some shit. You know, but what we consume in terms of dollar value, again, and we've quoted this, I've said this, is over 1.2 trillion, and I think it's more. I think it's more, but it's over $1 trillion annually, and just consuming. You take that away from this economy. No, man, that ain't like a war in Iran or nothing like that. That means, hey, this shit is gonna collapse. It's gonna collapse because with that, let's say keeping our dollars out of the system comes also as a part of that. Okay, we're not working, we're not doing nothing for y'all. This shit would crumble, and then that's when I think they would become forceful. That's what I think, you know. But yeah. We control our dollars. We control a lot of shit. We may be able to change a lot of shit. But again, I think that's gonna be a situation where they're gonna show, well, we already know their true colors. But yeah, the cat's gonna come out of the bag, you know, when we do that. So real spit. Oh shit. Fat Rat, man, I went to the bottom. Fat Rat Playboy said 1.6 trillion will come on the bandwagon, homie. The grunt work has already been for the hitters. 1.6. You hear me? Lonzo said, man, I agree, Fat Rat, 1,000%. We can build our own if we can get the devil to stop destroying our ish. 1.6 trillion. Do y'all know that Trump is pushing, and the Pentagon is pushing for a $1.5 trillion budget for just the Pentagon for military, and it's gonna have all the best shit, you know, all this new AI all this techno shit, you know, and they do experiments. Some of this money, 1.5 trillion. That's 1,500,000,000,000. And we spend that. They got to go to Congress, you know, to get that money, you know. You know, the country, hey, man, shit, that's a lot of bread. And yeah, we can start our own get out. There are countries in the world right now don't have a budget of that amount. The GDP is not even that amount. Most of these countries are under $1 trillion. We're talking about twice the amount of some of these countries, you know, in terms of what they, you know, the GDP is, you know, what they bring in. We're talking about us. 12% of this population spends that type of money once a year. We ain't figuring something out, y'all. We tripping. We tripping like a big dog. Fat Rat said, man, separation begins in the mind and grows through self-patronization and culminates in land acquisition and building for ourselves in America. So he's advocating, yeah, we get our own here and we stay here. You know, I think though with that, let's say we decided to do that, I think that would represent a problem with these people. Yeah, I think that would be all out get down with these people. You know, if we say, okay, we're going to keep our shit and we ain't going nowhere. In fact, this we're going to buy this and that. That's going to start. Yeah, I don't think they'd be that. Nah, they'd be like, nah, no, y'all ain't gonna screw us twice. You know, ruin our economy or run our economy and take our land. You know, that's where they would look at it. I think. You know, Farrah going to say, man, we could begin the process of separation with only 0.05 a day, homie. An economic blueprint, 16 million employed, giving $20 a year, gives us 320 million to start in a year. The NOI been teaching this method since 1960. Hello. Queen Nzinga said, she got to continue. All right, so Janice is speaking the real about reaching these young. I saw a video today of 3 kids no older than 8, 9, or 10 stealing from a store. The store locked the doors, and instead of being scared or realizing what they did, the kids were yelling, cussing, and demanding to be let out like they had done nothing wrong. Wow. All right, James, I see you up in here. CPT up in the house. All right. What up with you, loved one? All right, y'all. I've been going a little long right here. Oh, this thing is lit. This thing is lit. So let's hold these thoughts, all right? I have to cut it short right now. I have other things to attend to. Look, whatever is decided, I think that we have to decide to make that decision. You know what I mean? I think we've left it for too long to other people to decide for us our fate. That's what I think. You know, I think that a lot of us are comfortable with someone else having that responsibility rather than us, you know, manning up and dealing with that obligation ourselves. A lot of us are cool with the status quo. You know, now that being said, for any of us who understand that now that's not a good look, then yeah, man, like Fabric said, we have to start putting pieces in place. You know, I think it all starts with a discussion, no doubt. No doubt. But at what point do we stop talking and start building? You know, again, we can't actually start building till we know who our builders are, who we're building with. You know, who we are building with, you know, who's in and who's out, you know. The more time we waste, man, again, I've said this before, the more we wait or the time we waste to get it together, man, the more that window will close. And you got to know, again, there's two things going to take place. Either we're going to separate, do our own thing, be that here or anywhere else, or we're going to be annihilated because we haven't made a decision. We haven't done nothing for ourselves and our people, man, in the last 100 years. You know, I don't mean to be so, you know, we've brought a lot to the culture in the last 100 years. But in terms of, you know, us actually doing something for ourselves, man, it's been a long, long time. Been a long time, you know, and, you know, we all know, most of us know the history of that, what the outcome of that was, you know. But I think it's high time. It's our turn. It's our turn to establish something We might not see it to its full fruition, might not get to live in that paradise, so to speak. But I think we're responsible. We're obligated to get to start on this foundation, start building this foundation so that those 4, 5, 6, and 7-year-olds, when they grow up, they'll have something, you know, a square to stand on. You know, that's what I think. All right. Hey, man, all love and respect. Just know that, man. Appreciate you coming up in here, though, Craig Johnson. A lot of love and respect, man. Good to see you in here, man. This is Under the Groove Podcast. Hey, man, like, share, and subscribe to this Get Down, if you will. All right. We'll look forward to seeing you, hopefully, if, you know, the ancestors permit, man, tomorrow. You may come in, jump in. This is Monday through Friday, all right? 6:15 to 8:30, 8:15, all right? You're more than welcome to be here, brother. Appreciate you in the comments as well, man. RGC also, they appreciate you as well. That being said, man, y'all know how this thing go, man. It's imperative that we learn to love ourselves in order for us to love each other or one another. You know what I mean? We have to learn how to take care of ourselves so that when the time comes, we'll know how to take care of each other or one another. We'll know how to support them, help prop them up, keep them erect. You know, we'll do all those things that's required of us, man. You know, that we require ourselves, you know, we'll also use that requirement for others. Love yourself. Take care of yourself. Love another brother, man. Take care of another brother and sister. Love brothers and sisters, period, point blank. That being said, you are, you have been, and you will be under the groove. Power is in the people, y'all. Be one. Black first, y'all. Be one. Let's focus on the focus. All right, everybody have a pleasant evening, all right? See you tomorrow, brothers and sisters.
Count the names, count the bodies, count the victory. Cullen Hughes, Hurst, and writing future history. From the Apollo to the borough to the sphere. Where the echo of those Harlem nights still ringing clear. So when they ask what happened in those tenement flats, between the spirituals and where consciousness is at, tell them we transform suffering to scholarship and song. Tell them we've been telling you we're brilliant all along. The Renaissance will prologue every decade since the sequel. Every black child born's continuation of the people who survived the Middle Passage, survived the Jim Crow laws, and built magnificence from nothing but their vision and their flaws. That's in the sergeant. This is once a less than had this and Mercedes. Please don't you, I can't stop us. Power sensitive plot to the applause for polls. Need your data talks and counsel any problem when the wet just wanna build the seats and bait. Now don't get the pause. It's just the raising up the cons. Plead the ruckus off the main. Make it on the fans. Turn and neck and love the durn. Suffer like a kesha. You went wrong to preaching up on side and seat your lung, bitch on the shit and untrue seeing vets. Someone that varied it's on Gary Land. Be hell in heaven, you see what the bonafide. You wait something for the marker, make the key to pull the trumpets on the boats to the Sangaland is carried open stone to keep us looking on my mother, break your generosity for the heat and let the peasant be. It's every time we keep a spawn.